Know him very well. As soon as he was appointed, I think he made the rounds. I got to know him personally, and he was a fine lawyer and an excellent administrator, but above all, he was a very, very good person.
Okay, talk about your relationship with clients and establishing that rapport.
A lot of people ask the question, how do you get along with your client? I always felt that the first rule was that it wasn't my duty to get along with my client. It was my duty to represent him or her. And you have all sorts of clients. Some you like very much. Some you can't stand. Interestingly enough, sometimes you do a better job for somebody you can't stand. Sometimes you're nervous and a little too over-concerned with somebody that you do like. So you try to have an even keel again. They're not fungible. No two clients are alike. And I think it's important when you first interview a client to be quiet and listen. Let them ramble, within reason, and they will ramble. They have quite a bit to tell you, and let them get that out. And then go back and start asking questions. I think too many lawyers go in and start asking questions instead of just listening. By and large, I got along very well with most of my clients. And some very few I hear from occasionally. And some others I used to hear from frequently because they were getting back into the system, but no.
Okay. Talking about the Office of Public Defender as an overall agency. Get yourself comfortable. We'll adjust that as we go.
Okay.
What I should have done is I should have had you run it through the inside of your shirt, but we're almost done. We're almost wrapped up here. So
Doesn't really show up on camera.
good. Okay, he's the boss here. And we're cameraman shy today, so we're improvising. Okay. For the State Office of the Public Defender's Office.
I'm just going to take...
And the question I'm going to ask you is, what do you think have been their greatest accomplishments so far?
Well, the State Public Defender has accomplished a great deal. First of all, I think the respect with which they're held by the court system, by the judiciary, is a hallmark of what they have done. They have represented their clients very well. I keep coming back to better than before, and I'd have to say much, much better than before. I think that also they have established themselves in the community as people who can be trusted and be very, very good representatives. It wasn't that infrequently that when we started, a client would look at you and say, excuse me, who's paying you? And you would say, the state of New Jersey. And they'd say, who's paying that judge? Well, the state of New Jersey is paying that judge. And who's paying that prosecutor? Well, the county of Essex is paying the prosecutor. Well, why are you going to do a lot for me? You're not getting paid by me, and that's all gone. I think it's established, its function's been established, and its good reputation is known.
And what tasks and what future do you see for the Office of the Public Defender?
Unfortunately, a very bright future. They'll always be here. I think they'll always be needed. One of the things is that the cost of Private representation is going to increase. The cost of expert witnesses definitely, as we get into more scientific evidence being used in courts, criminal courts, so that the indigent pool, the people who are requiring representation because they cannot afford what a quality lawyer would cost them, is going to grow. And I think the office will grow with it.
Okay, your sons, daughters, now your grandson, following your footsteps in the state, in the public defender's office. And I realize they're in the room. So if you want them to leave for your answer, I'll ask them to go. But how does that make you feel that they're following your footsteps in the public defender's office?
Well, as you say, I have two sons that are public defenders. One, John, who is long time with the State Public Defender's Office, and Patrick, who is in the Federal Public Defender's Office. Then I have the brightest of them all, Deirdre, who is with the State Public Defender's Office. And I now have an investigator, recent college graduate, starting law school, who is a investigator in Middlesex County, John Patrick. We're three Johns, but nobody's a junior. So I can't help but feel proud. I don't know what influence I had, apparently some, but I don't know just exactly what it was. You know, it's very gratifying. I also have a son, Michael, who's in private practice, and we all hope he makes a lot of money and supports us in our old age.
Dave, do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Is there anything else you think I should have asked, or is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yes, I was looking over some questions before, and I thought there was going to be one on the evolution of the office and what I've seen as the positive changes. And that's the easiest one, so I was waiting for it. The biggest change that happened in the public defender's office here in Essex County, and in the legal profession in general, is young ladies. When I started in this office, as much as I feel grateful to Judge Lenny Ronco for starting, we had no women in the office, and we didn't have any women in the office for quite a number of years. We had no women on the bench here in Essex County, and we didn't have women on the bench for quite a number of years. I've been practicing law over 50 years, and that is the biggest and the best change, and it has certainly affected the quality of civility and representation.
Part of in our preparation here is we interviewed Judge Judy Yashkin, who was the first woman lawyer hired by the public defender, but it was down in Camden, so
Yes.
you probably didn't get a chance.
Well, Judy Yaskin was hired very early. I'm not sure if you're correct in saying that she was the first. I'd look into whether she wasn't beaten out a little by the now Chief Judge Emeritus of the Federal Court, Ann Thompson. Ann Thompson, Judge Thompson, was hired in Trenton, and I think the Mercer County office started about a week or 2 weeks ahead of Essex County. So Ann Thompson in my memory, she was always the first one, but we didn't have women here in Essex County until, I believe, around 1960 or 61. Yeah.
I love your answer. We had a siren going through part of it.
Oh, okay.
Just the beginning part, if you could say again for the camera, for the sound bite, the biggest change, positive change, the most positive change was the introduction of
Okay.
you said ladies or something. Okay. Just do that sentence one more time for us, please. We'll edit it later.
The biggest change that I can relate in the public defender's office and in the legal profession itself, since I started to practice over 50 years ago, is the introduction of women, ladies, into our profession. Of course, there were always a few, but they were very few. And the public defender's office here in Essex County started with no women. At that time, there were no women on the court in Essex County. I believe there might have only been one appellate court judge at that time in New Jersey who was a woman. And I think that they have added so much to the profession in the civility and the general outlook by our clients. That is the biggest.
Thank you very much. For redoing. I'm sorry to make you go.
No.
The first answer, it was great. I'm there. What is the damn siren doing? Thank you very much.